All right. One of the things we got to talk about is for the Bills, we'll say for the second segment, we're more than halfway through the season. But the NFL rankings have the Steelers number one, the Chiefs number two, Green Bay and New Orleans with Baltimore coming into the top five. Tampa Bay is sixth overall, and the Bills ranked seven. I'll start first with you, Carl. You okay with those five rankings of the top five teams in the power rankings in the NFL?
I'm not a believer in New Orleans, especially with the Drew Brees situation. Brees being hurt changes their season a little. And I say that because I think it's weird. For once, New Orleans should be a run-based team around Alvin Kamara, and they play very good defense. The secondary's getting better. They've got that pass rush. Brees has been what we've seen lately, 70% completion percentage, but more of a dink and dunk kind of quarterback. If Michael Thomas comes back and all of a sudden Jameis Winston stops turning the ball over, maybe New Orleans does take that step forward. But they're the one team in the top five I'm not a believer in.
Pat, do you have anybody in the top five you're like, I'm not quite sure?
It's Baltimore, and it's not just because of what happened with New England this past week. Like, Baltimore has taken a serious step back, and I mean, part of it's Lamar Jackson, right? Like, you've been in the league, you got enough time, film on him, you can check him out. But I blame it more on the offensive coordinator, Greg Roman. Being a Bills fan, we know Greg Roman very well, former offensive coordinator of Buffalo, and you saw a very similar thing happen when he was here. You didn't have a quarterback that was as talented as Lamar Jackson, but he got very creative with Tyrod Taylor when he started with Rex Ryan. And then, as the his second season started, things started to get less creative. The offense became more predictable, right? So I think that if there's going to be a fix in Baltimore for the rest of the season, if they're going to actually be a legitimate top five team, either Greg Roman needs to figure something out, or you need to completely change what you're trying to do with Lamar Jackson.
We still don't know. I think, Carl, you brought up an interesting point with the Saints in the fact that Drew Brees. Here's a guy who last year had injury problems. If Teddy Bridgewater doesn't come in, who knows what the season they would have really had. Now he has a collapsed lung and a fractured rib. Is this the end of the year or the end of the career for Drew Brees?
I think it is. I think this year was going to be it anyway. And, as we get older, and look at me, I'm older, I don't recover as quickly. I don't have broken ribs. But then again, I'm not getting smashed to the ground by 330-pound freak athletes like Brees is either. I'll be shocked if Brees is able to come back and be the player he was a couple of years ago, which is what I think they need him to be if they want to beat the best team in the NFC, which in my opinion is the Packers.
For Pat, listen, this is not one of those things where Drew Brees is done and he'll go off into the night. He's got a career after this. He could actually go to NBC and do a broadcast career. So he doesn't need 300-pound defensive linemen landing on him anymore.
But that being said, he hasn't needed it for the last 3.5, 4 seasons, yet he keeps bringing himself back. I mean, he seems like the kind of guy, first of all, he came back from that shoulder injury that nobody thought he was going to come back from. Thank you very much, Dante Culpepper. But, I mean, I just can't see a guy ending a Hall of Fame career the way that he did. I think that if he's done for the season or he's seriously affected for the rest of the season, we might see one more year of Drew Brees back in New Orleans.